C-Skip does do something.
This is the One Up Network. Welcome to the One Up Yours podcast for February 9th, 2007. That's James Milkey, who's joining us specially today to kind of fill in. We got a different sort of show today because some of the gangs over at this little thing, DICE in Vegas, I don't know, are they throwing craps or something?
Do you know what DICE stands for?
No.
Does anyone?
Nope. Developer something.
I knew once.
Yeah.
Design, innovate.
Computers and
entertainment.
I don't know.
There you go.
Sure.
There you go.
There, that's what it means.
Yeah.
So we're all heavily vested in the DICE stuff, obviously. There's Sam Kennedy, who's also joining us today.
Hey.
These guys will be... Sam Kennedy will be playing the role of Luke Smith. Sweet.
No. Sam's doing Shane. I mean, this is
No,
Mr.
I want
PS3.
Milky to do shit.
Yeah, no, Milky should do Shane.
Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, so
How's
guys.
Virtua Fighter, Shane?
Oh, it's really good. I'm going to totally kick my ass. And I'm going to, come out on top. I'm victorious. I'm going to be victorious. I know it. I want it. I win it.
All right, so here's the deal in today's show. We're just doing two segments. The middle segment we normally do, we're actually going to do on Monday because we're going to do the DICE wrap-up show when Luke gets back and Shane gets back, and we'll let them wag about whatever they saw.
Hobnobbing with industry people as we speak.
And you know how Luke is with his knob.
Exactly. He hobs.
Absolutely. So we're going to do the regular deal. In the first segment, we'll do the what you've been playing. Milk's been playing, obviously, some Virtua Fighter.
I have too.
God knows what the hell Sam's been playing, but I guarantee it's on the frickin' PS3.
He just told you. It was
Virtua
on
Fighter.
Virtua Fighter.
Well, you must have been playing something else. Oh, you were supposed to do a review of Blast Factor,
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
you?
I've been playing that too, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming, Skip. Don't worry.
John's been playing some stuff. We've been playing F1, so we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we'll skip to news. I did news today, and I got to tell you, Luke, I know you're going to be listening to this. Dude, I have gained a new respect for what it takes to put together the news segment because for the past several hours, I've been, culling all this stuff together. It's not nearly as easy as it looks when he rips it out, so...
Yeah, you should have seen your email.
Yeah.
Your email was a mess.
disgusting.
wasn't it?
Hi, that's called cut and paste.
14 different fonts. Select all.
Cut and paste.
Yeah. Don't do it again.
All right then. I'll just put it all in Arial and make it 12 point. Anyway, all right. So, Milk, you want to start off what you've been playing? Dude, talk to us about Virtua Fighter and whatever else.
You don't have to talk about Virtua
You don't have
Fighter
to.
if
You can talk
don't
about
want
whatever you've been playing. What have you been playing for the last couple of weeks?
I haven't, besides Virtua Fighter, really. And that's probably pretty boring to hear by now since I've been playing it for months.
Not at all, dude. Tell us.
Dude, you were swearing up a storm this afternoon.
Yeah.
Playing it.
That's because the AI in the quest mode, I don't get some of the decisions in Virtua Fighter that they made in Virtua Fighter 5. It's very hard to make money in the game, which is... in the quest mode, which is...
Well, we were playing, and I only got money when you beat my ass. So
Right.
I got a lot of money.
Yeah, you did. And
Wait, what?
The problem is when I'm playing through quest mode, you get money for losing. There's a couple tournaments where you get thousands of gold to buy items with because the expensive items all cost 10,000
Wait, is that
or
pity
above.
money or something?
No, it's some kind of extension of Sega's whole corporate philosophy. You lose and you make money. You screw things up, make money.
Yeah, except that in Sega's world, you don't actually get away with that. When you lose, you just lose.
They were hoping.
Yeah, but in Virtua Fighter 5 in the quest mode, when you lose, that's when you get money. I won all these tournaments and I still only have 5,000 gold on Jackie. But then I lost a round to a higher ranked character and I got 600 gold. So I'm like, shit, maybe I want to go on a big losing streak, But it's not that hard to go on a big losing streak because once you get into the upper ranks of the quest mode and start fighting the more difficult players, the AI gets so cheap.
You didn't sound so happy about that earlier today.
No, I was a human resource nightmare for about an hour there, especially with the what's he CEO.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big Boss was in from New York. Did he hear you?
I don't think so. I think he first stopped by the office when I was blasting the music, and once I realized that he was actually floating around, I tried to curtail what I was saying, but a few choice nuggets got out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was that deal you were explaining to me earlier about how you couldn't fight different tiers because they were too many tiers apart?
Well, I'm not exactly sure if this is 100% true, but you start off at 10th queue and you work your way down 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to first queue, and then you go to first Dan, and then second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up to 10, and then you get the named rankings like master, veteran. But instead of when you're a certain skill level and you have to start off at 10th queue, you kind of have to go through the tiers in kind of an organic fashion, or else the computer seems to ramp up the difficulty. It's like whether or not you're really a third Dan or a fourth or fifth or sixth Dan skill level, you can't really go from 10th queue and just jump into that, because the computer seems to ramp up the difficulty and really just put a beat down on you for trying to get ahead that far. You can go from 10th queue and fight 5th, 6th, or 4th queue, but I wouldn't go too far beyond that, because then the computer starts doing a lot of cheap stuff.
It forces you to go through the whole progression slowly but surely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So the game's out now, right? Came out this week?
Well,
No,
it came out in Japan on February 8th, but it's coming out here on the 20th. We got advanced copies, and so we were able to putz around with those.
What do you think?
I'm liking it so far. We got the copy yesterday, so I took it home and played it. And I was out of Virtua Fighter for the last two, so I really like VF1 and VF2. VF3 kind of not so much, and then VF4 I kind of just missed, I guess. But which sucks considering we have a arcade machine right outside of my office right now. But anyway, I'm really liking it. I mean, it looks incredible on my TV, and it's on PS3, so I have to like it. And no,
You're never going to live that down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I should be this Shane on the show, but no, it was great to I went into the training mode, and I was trying to learn a lot of moves and everything, and it was fun. I'm ready for Monday now.
Who are you playing?
Actually, I'm just trying I'm trying to find a character that I'm really, I haven't found the one that I'm going to kind of use for the rest of whatever, next week when we have our tournament and stuff.
So Monday's gonna be our tournament, so people know what we're talking about.
Oh, God, I need to throw my Brad in the ring for that.
Yeah, James? Who are you gonna play?
I'm keeping that under.
Oh, dude, keep it under wraps.
I heard his story. This is actually going to be good. I can't wait till next week.
Sam knows he won't give me up.
Yeah.
Who are you busting out?
I don't know yet. We're going to see.
Well, I'm bringing Pi. It's the only one I still have enough moves memorized to be able to play.
When you can mash at a particular level on Pi to get some results.
Absolutely. You didn't know what to do with it, so whatever.
I know. It was just a blind.
flurry.
You saw it. It was just a fury of button mashing.
I may actually just throw the match early just so I can go back to work.
Get something done for the day.
Yeah. I'll be like, oh, you got me. You perfected me 3 rounds in a row.
Oh,
good win, John.
Ow.
It could be anybody.
So what are you playing, Garnet?
Well, we played F1 this week because we're on the review for EGM.
We nerded out big time today. We have one of
God.
those ridiculous fucking $500 chairs, which apparently has to go back soon. So it's a good job that it wasn't thrown out, as was implied in an email string today.
Don't we always get one of those chairs every 3 years or so, and then we just cannot find a way to get rid of it? Even utilities.
We found out how to get rid of it. The guy that gave it to us wants it back.
Really?
But is it cool, or is
the
it
chair that he made? So yeah, we have a Logitech wheel clamp to it and the pedals, and it's got like a Recaro racing seat on this big sort of metal tube frame thing. And we've been playing the F1 game on PS3, which is probably the hardest racing game ever made. It's ridiculous. See, I like racing games to make me feel like a racing driver.
Right.
I don't want to actually have to be one in order to play it.
Right.
But stupid.
What? Tell me what's the appeal of playing a new F1 game? Okay, because I mean,
it's really pretty.
Well, I understand.
No, that is the appeal, really, though,
With
right?
this one, yeah.
It's got to be.
It has good rain effects. That's what I.
But the tracks always stay the same. It's the F1 circuit.
Oh no, there's Bahrain now.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
It's first race of the season.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a little wood off that. Yeah, right?
You want to sit differently?
Yeah. Excuse me while I adjust myself. That's much better.
Wow, do you have a wet wipe over there?
Hey. Keep it in the green.
All right.
What's the attraction? Well, it simulates the season. You have to be very, very, very into Formula One to appreciate this game. So it's going to do really well in Europe and really well in lots of other countries in the world. And I think a lot of people here are going to be like, huh?
Yeah. That's why we don't always get all the F1 games over here.
We didn't get F105, which was the last one on PS2. But yeah, I mean, you need to really appreciate the sport and all the minutiae of the sport and all the process that's involved and the politics. And I mean, it's a career-based racing game where you work your way through, you build a driver up, and it has braking. I mean, I was playing it over the weekend, and it has assists for pretty much every system in the car, including steering.
You mean it has slot car mode?
Yeah.
So
but
it's like
first time round, even with steering assist, it's still really fucking hard.
We had different experience on that because I didn't think it was so bad with all the assists on, but I didn't think it was driving game. It was just like push the stick forward. You don't have to do anything else.
Well, you have to adjust to what it's doing for you. So if you try and drive it in that mode, it's not like a driving game. Well, I found I just played GTHD, and I've played a lot of racing games. I beat every challenge in GTHD first time, feeling pretty good about knowing racing games. You put F1 in, and it's like getting beaten over the head. I mean, it's like.
Well, you also tried with doing the six-axis thing too, right?
See, forever will be a gimmick in racing games. Holding the thing like a steering wheel is just dumb.
I see. Like
I agree. I tried it with MotorStorm too. It doesn't work.
Ryan on the One Up Show plays MotorStorm with the six-axis control the whole time. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
See, what I said to Sam is that okay? You look at something like the Nintendo Wii, and you take a whole new kind of game design, like with Miyamoto doing the orchestral baton, and using something like that for something that has no preconceptions. But here is a game where they're trying to scrape 20, 30 years of programming out of our minds, of what has been perfectly fine, pushing left and right on a D-pad, and replace it with this gratuitous motion control.
It's right. I mean, it's buried, and it doesn't default to it.
What game I think it could work for would be like Wipeout, where you're doing kind of slower, like side-to-side motions. Maybe.
Wait. Did you just call Wipeout slow?
Well, no, it's not. No, okay, no. It's not. The game is fast, but
the steering is slow. Like, there's no really tight turns on Wipeout. It's all very because what we were finding
there's some pretty hard turns in Wipeout.
There are hard turns, but it's not like you're trying to get traction on a real world street. All of a sudden, you're hovering. So you've got a little swim.
I mean, it's the same problem that you have with racing games with some wheels. In the area that you would actually, the way you would steer a real car doesn't relate to how you steer with one of these wheels. Because like in a real car, if you're going around a fairly sort of steady curve, you kind of hold the wheel and you can feel it, and it's a reasonable amount of turn, and you're taking it round. But in a racing game, to do the same thing, you're moving it a fraction of an inch to one side and trying to hold it. And you end up wobbling around all over the place. And to take that, they've taken basically the wheel experience and transferred it to just holding the pad in space with no feedback. There's nothing to push it against.
No feedback.
And there's no feedback of any kind.
You don't feel like
so you spend the whole time like driving in a straight line with a six-axis in F1 is really difficult.
So you're constantly trying to
adjust it.
You're floating out there. You're holding this controller out in front of you, and you have no reference point. You have nothing you have no counterweight. You're just awkwardly holding it out in front of you. And
to their credit, they did bury the success. It's bolted on. It obviously wasn't built for it. I mean, it's like the 7th or 8th control scheme that they offer to you, and it supports a bunch of wheels. We were playing it with a Force Feedback Pro with a 900 turn on it. I mean,
which it turns off, by the way, because apparently F1 wheels don't go that far. It just turns at 90 degrees.
If you're a racing game nerd and you have a setup, this is the game, and it's like it looks beautiful and
that's part of it. That's part of it, though, is you have to understand is that F1 cars, 19,000 horsepower V8s with tons of power that go 0 to 180 miles an hour in the blink of an eye and back down in a blink of an eye. That's part of the problem. That's part of the challenge. There's very few people with the reflexes and the training to drive these cars.
I think that any game, though, that like relies on or has to implement a steering assist or a brake assist, I think a game on that kind of level.
Well, it's not a game. I mean, it's trying to straddle the line between is it a game or is it a simulation?
Right,
and what it ends up being is not completely either.
It's because of what they're simulating, though. Because the average person needs that assist to be able to drive.
The game's out for another month, but I mean, all of the stuff we're talking about, you can see it in the demo that came out.
Right.
It's like it struggles, and I think the US audience is gonna some people are going to love it because they follow F1 religiously and they're really into cars and the culture. And I think in the UK, they're going to go batshit crazy over this game. But I think Sony's taking a risk pushing this game this early on PS3 over here.
Probably because there's not a lot of other games out right now, and it's at the beginning of the new generation, so like anything next gen will kind of sell right now.
That's true.
Just because it looks good.
And it is beautiful, but here's my thing. The F1 depth in it is great, and I think people who are F1 fans will really love that part of it. I have some knocks against it. The graphics look great, but I still felt like I was watching one of those cheap blue screen movies where you can tell that there's a detachment between the subject and the background. I really had that problem with it, and the force feedback. Jesus. If it wasn't hard enough to drive with a controller already, not having any feel of the tires rubbing or when you hit rumble strips or anything, you get nothing. I mean, it's like you're driving and the controller doesn't move at all. No feedback because
it's something that
sucks.
When we're, as we get close to the review will hit in March.
Right.
I think we're already going to be in this phase with PS3 games where when we're reviewing them, we're talking about them the same way that we talk about PSP games, where invariably you end up saying the biggest problem with the game isn't the game's fault, it's the PS3's fault.
Right.
Same as with any PSP game. It's like, okay, the game's great,
harsh.
But its biggest limitation is that on the PSP, it's just got the one analog nub and it's too sensitive. I think there's going to be a lot. We're going to see a lot of PS3 games criticized that way. Like, it felt a bit dead, and ultimately, I think the reason it felt dead is because there wasn't any feedback.
I can hardly wait.
It depends on the game, obviously.
Yeah.
Like some you'll notice it, like FPS or something, you'll notice it. And
I can hardly wait till Sony comes back and finally gets feedback back into the controllers or something, and tries to and puts out that press release that rationalizes it, that derationalizes their previous rationalization.
Go ahead.
For not having it in.
What do you think their spin will be?
I don't know, but all I know is that I haven't been a gamer this far just to go 10 years back. I'm like, oh, this lack of force feedback is
it's
so
the next generation of
1995.
Rumble.
It's DualShock new.
Yeah, we took Rumble out because that just did it vibrating in your hand. We were waiting for next gen high def Rumble.
That's right. It's going to be tied into your synapses. You'll never even know what's happening.
Next generation Rumble doesn't start until they say so. And the other thing I've been playing is a lot of Crackdown.
Yeah,
a lot.
I finally got roped into that because we got retails. It's like
I am obsessed with Crackdown. I have no game has hooked me on achievements the way Crackdown has. Like the My Cheats guys have been working through it to put a super guide together for when the game comes out in a couple of weeks. And I've been grilling Mike all week. Some of the achievements are so difficult to get, but I'm obsessed with it.
Really? Is the game really that good? Because
I think you're going to love it. Actually,
it's a great
Grand
game.
Theft Auto meets the Hulk.
It's not Grand Theft Auto. It's a big city where you can jump into cars, but that's pretty much where the GTA similarities end.
But meets the Hulk.
There's a lot of Hulk. The second Incredible Hulk game. What was it called? Ultimate Destruction, where you were jumping around cities and busting shit up.
Yeah.
But you earn the way that you turn into it. So you basically become a superhero, but you earn it. So your actions dictate your progress in the way that you have 5 different stats. There's driving, guns, explosives, agility, which is speed and jumping, and strength. And the more that you do certain tasks, it builds the guy up. So he sort of slowly evolves into this superhuman agent. Mm-hmm. And then you're leaping over buildings and running around.
It's a really perfected expression of the whole sandbox idea of just throwing a sandbox out there. I mean, I'm the guy who loves narrative. I'm the guy who wants story in my game. I'm one who wants character.
There's no story.
There's nothing. Just fucking screw it. You just jump into this game. You run around and jump around buildings. It's like you said when we were sitting in your office the other day. Now I'm sitting in the office looking out the window going, so I could jump from the side of that building and I could land on that balcony.
You obsess on
shit. I could pull myself over to that fire escape. It's so
How
whack.
does it look really actually on a high def TV
it looks
or
great.
whatever?
It looks really great.
Because just from looking at the movies, it just looks a little GTA-ish for me.
No,
it doesn't because it's cell shaded and it's like a really nice implementation of cell shading. It's got a lot of color to it. The environments, it's amazing how interactive the environments are. There's just other games have had. Like Grand Theft Auto, you see cars going by, and they all seem to be in their little slots. They're I hate to use a slot car analogy again, but they're driving around in their little routines or whatever. This game, you see the weirdest shit happening just on the street. People getting in fights, cars having wrecks and flipping over, and gangs going nuts. It's just there's always weird stuff going on, and you can be running around, jumping from building to building, unloading your grenade launcher.
I mean, the narrative is as much as there's 3 different areas to the city. There's a gang in each one, and
you take them out,
and they're pissed.
Yeah, that's about
it.
And
that's kind of it.
Really?
And you're a one-man tank that can leap over a building.
But I love that sense of like you're asking yourself, could I really do that? Could I? I'll just try it.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and you're like, oh my god, I can't.
There'll be
believe
times
that.
where you jump off a skyscraper and you'll land, and you're trying to land on top of a building that's across the street, and you think you're going to miss, and you don't quite miss, and he reaches out and grabs a window ledge, and he swings down and he lands, and then you hear his shoulder crack as he lands onto it, and then pulls himself up and carries on. And there's a sense of vertigo to it as well. There's some of the really, really tall buildings, the way it handles the sound and the fact that you're so high up, and you don't want to fall, not because you don't want to die. You don't want to fall because you don't want to have to work your way up this building again. There's I want to get this right, I want to get it perfect, and it brings this sort of nervousness about, because some of the objectives are get to there's the tallest building in the game. There's an achievement for getting to the top of it, and then another achievement for jumping off it and landing in this pool that's about the size of a car.
How many achievements does the game have?
43.
It seems like it would have more than that.
And then they're adding some as well. So there's downloadable content for another 100 points. And most of the achievements in the game are 10, 20 points each. So there could be 5 or 6 in the download pack that they give.
Wow.
But it's not a 10 out of 10 game by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But it's really good fun.
But how much can you level your dude up? I mean, how long does the game go? Keep going on.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he starts off and he's this just this weird looking dude. You can pick one of several skins, and there's a guy that looks a bit like if Marilyn Manson shaved his head. And then there's
you can even customize
dude,
it.
and there's skins, and there's going to be more skins that they provide later on. Yeah. And you start off, and he's this wimpy little guy, and he can run and jump a reasonable amount and get in a car. And by the end of it, you can jump the voiceover says that you can jump 50 feet, but if you nail it right, I mean, you can jump over a building.
Really?
And lift so cool. And lift a dump truck over your head, and then jump up a building while holding the dump truck.
Nice. And
then throw it in the air and fire a rocket launcher at it and let it explode and take out everything around it. And
because that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Or you can play it co-op, hop in a truck and have your buddy pick up the truck that you're in, have him throw it and nuke it with the rocket launcher while you're in it and blasting you up into the sky.
Is that online?
Yeah, it's
co-op?
It's live. Yeah, live co-op.
It's very good.
Luke and I did that the other day. It was pretty fun. We figured out the thing of that is you need to have your agilities matched, because agility is what governs how far you can jump and how fast you can run. And if you're not matched in agility, you can't keep up with each other. Mm-hmm. That's
I really like how developers are implementing the co-op online play over Xbox Live. Mm-hmm. It just seems like it's really encouraging to try and do stuff like that. Between
and this is really simple. I mean, it only supports just 2 of you, but it completely changes the dynamic of the game, the way you'll tackle things. And when 2 of you are really pumped up in full superhero mode, you can go in and just annihilate guys.
Really?
It's good.
Like you were talking about the next one.
Yeah, if they do it, I mean, they're sure to do a sequel. This one, it's sure to do well, and there's so much that they can obviously do. Now they've got this framework in place and set people's expectations. I think there's things they can do with squads and bigger battles and more characters, and it's a bit limp on the boss front.
Yeah,
it's just some dude that you have to go in and kill.
Yeah.
So there's no big boss mechanic, or it's just work your way to here and kill this guy and get out. And I think there's a lot they can do with the way that the progression through levels and stuff happens. But you should at least try the demo. I mean, it's a gig download, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Oh, I'm stoked for it. I've been hearing everybody rave about it around the office, so I'm sure it's got to be good.
All right, Kennedy, come out with the blast factor.
Yeah. So it was.
What's the scoop?
It's actually they just released a multiplayer pack for it. It's another $3 or whatever to download that. So I haven't tried that yet. But I played the just the standard 1-player mode. Downloaded that a week or so.
I'm sorry,
ago.
We call that regular player.
Regular player, whatever. And it's it's basically people were calling it the PS3's.
That game.
Yeah, that game.
Geometry
Wars, whatever.
Sam's so steeped in PlayStation culture.
Yeah. I know. He's it's like that other game.
It's quite popular.
Yeah. What the hell's the name of it?
It's going red.
Yeah. But anyway, it's I don't like it as much as Geometry Wars, but what I do like about it is that it does have it actually will slow down at times too, so you can actually slow down the game, so it gives you a little like moment to breathe, which is something I like.
Breathing's for pussies.
Yeah,
okay.
Whatever.
Just want to remind you, breathing's for pussies. Who needs slowdown?
You've known him a long time. He's still a pussy.
Weak sauce. Weak
Dude,
sauce.
you haven't even tried it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You need slowdown.
He needs next gen slowdown.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's an okay game. It's like if you're
it slows down on purpose. Is what you're saying?
You know,
right?
you basically you've got a ton of shit going around you, and you basically have a quick slowdown that lasts for about a second or so. It like basically everything's
bullet
Right, so
time.
back me up here for a second.
Bullet time of shooters.
yeah, bullet time. Yeah.
Is it just a Geometry Wars clone, or is are you a spaceship? Are you
Yeah, you're like a spaceship, and you're blasting like a ton of shit flying around at you.
Blasting factors,
with,
man.
Yeah,
Those factors, they're evil.
but the thing about it is you can actually use
like a math game.
You can use the tilt to like shake the screen, and everything will kind of fly to one side. So you like tilt it to the right, and all the little whatever you have to blast will kind of slide over to the right, and making it so you can kind of like maneuver around everything too. So it's kind of you do that, and you also use the slowdown mechanism a little bit too, and so it changes. It's not Geometry Wars exactly, but
so what do you like less about it? Sounds like you like it a lot.
Well, I guess I mean it doesn't. It's just kind of limited, I guess. I mean, unlike Geometry Wars, I think there's like you don't like. Well, there's like it's not as exciting, I guess. It's like there's no like music in the background. It's kind of like I don't think there really is any music in the game. You're just kind of blasting stuff, and there's just no like. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's just
Do they
not
have sound?
It has sound. Yeah.
Sound?
Yeah.
Hey,
it's just not as exciting,
Bill,
I guess.
Something's missing from the game. I know we just finished it, but can't put my finger on it. What did sound?
Yeah.
That's right.
It's also missing rumble technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I didn't like it.
But you can tilt.
Oh, and the tilt thing doesn't always work either, so that's kind of annoying. So like just when you're really, really counting on it, then you tilt it and it doesn't quite register or something, and then you get nailed. So it's not. It's an okay game, but it's no Geometry Wars.
It's not on plan yet. You know one thing I like about having we need to come up with a name for that area where Matt and Sharky and Jeremy sit.
The pit.
Yeah, but we can't call it the pit again. That was OPM's name. I mean, that feels.
No, it was like the
little boys' room.
They're old. No, it's the think tank. Yeah.
People don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So outside my office is a area of 3 cubes. It's like arranged in a hub, like
A
bullpen, where Jeremy, Scott Sharkey, and Matt Leone sit. And it's cool now because they've been playing a lot of games recently, and we're not ready to have them on What's You Been Playing yet. But next week I definitely will have God of War 2 action, because watching Matt play that even on standard def, God,
Yeah, that game.
Well, it's only standard def.
yeah, only on standard def. I mean,
on purpose.
But it looks incredible, though.
it looks amazing. It looks great. You're watching that game, you're like, wow, this looks really. Why did we need a new next gen already?
Yeah,
well, what?
Actually, I like
It looks really good.
I like.
I know.
It looks really good.
It's funny though because Jeremy and Sharky like always have some game that it has to be like 10 years or older in order for it to like,
They
be
were
on their
playing
TV.
some fucking Minesweeper looking bullshit today. What
Zelda.
the hell was
some
that?
Bullshit. It was off of the Japanese Wii store. They're like Jeremy always, of course, downloading something crazy.
It was. He described it as a cross between Sudoku and Minesweeper.
That's
I'm
very
like,
hardcore.
And they were playing it 2-player. I'm like, oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you missed him.
I'm just going to move 5 feet to
Yeah, I
the
know.
right and
Yeah.
watch God of War 2. Thanks.
Don't worry, guys. Mom's coming down with the graham crackers soon.
Well, that was a perfect moment for that is when Matt's sitting there playing God of War 2 and Jeremy's playing
Pong.
No, Cooking Mama.
Oh, God.
Cooking Mama on Wii is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Me and Sam played that at CES. I like that.
Yeah.
I think he was making dumplings or something. He was like,
You whipped
rolling
up a
stuff
nice little
up.
fettuccine.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
The sushi making stuff in it is great because you use the controller to chop and you roll and
Yeah.
it's good.
Nick, Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's a good game that I remember I did actually play another game this week? Earth Defense Force.
All right. Oh. See, I think this looks a little bit, crap.
It's
What?
fun, though.
No, but when you're talking about games where you're just like blasting, like having fun in a
Yeah.
game, I mean, it doesn't look great or anything, but it's
It's not the quality of the graphics itself. I think it's just that the animation. I mean, obviously Sandlot didn't put 43 points of articulation into each giant red ant. And so
Swivel hips, that was one.
Accurately wrap itself around the building. Like when you shoot an ant, it looks like it almost looks like you're playing with toy soldiers or something and giant monsters, because like when you knock one over, it falls down like a big
ant
toy or something like that. But it is fun. I mean, like some of the footage they took for the 1UP show was really good, with the big Godzilla-size mech monsters stomping through the city and all the dudes shooting bazookas at it. That part looked really good.
It's just a really mindless. I mean, it's like a real mindless shooter, right?
It is a mindless shooter, but there's enough variety in it to keep it from being super repetitive.
So it's not just ants.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different enemy types, but there's also a lot of different weapon types and vehicles you can ride around.
When's it out?
March, and I think that I think that's one of the things that Microsoft needs right now is kind of the wacky, quirky games. Mm-hmm. It's not this overly serious. I mean, Crackdown's obviously not an overly serious game. It's just
definitely
good
not
fun. They need more games like this. They definitely need to get some Japanese games in there, so it's not all just the Western aesthetic, as we were discussing the Western archetype. Marine.
Well, there's Bullet Witch coming.
Marine neck. Yeah, that game.
Guys with big, thick necks.
Bullet Witch.
Don't get me started on Bullet Witch. They do need the diversity.
Isn't Bullet Witch just a Gungrave knockoff?
I haven't played it.
That's what it looked like to me.
I thought Gungrave was good.
If it was as good as Gungrave, I'd be stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've had a friend of mine who works at Capcom in Japan. Actually, I told him, I was like, man, I got Bullet Witch, and I feel robbed. And he said, I know it seems hard to believe, but once you get past the third level of that game, it gets really, really fucking good.
That is exactly what the Atari reps were talking to me about the other day on the phone, because they asked me about they said, so Bullet Witch, not getting such great response so far. We're talking about yada yada. She's like, you really have to get past the first couple of 3 levels, and then it gets good.
Couldn't they just take the first couple out?
I know, right? I think that the controls in Bullet Witch, since we're on this topic now, are still fundamentally broken because there's no lock on. The frame rate is pretty assy. The enemies are just clones. But it's
a chick in high heels with a gun.
Yeah, but if what everybody's saying about the third level and beyond is true, then like maybe it'll do a little bit of a salvage job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Garnett said Bullet Witch. I didn't.
We were just talking about Japanese games. It's not like you woke up yesterday and started playing Earth Defense Force. I used to see you playing that down in your office on PS2.
So
I'm just saying, you've always been into that kind of stuff. Blow some shit up.
Yeah.
What are the boards blowing up, John? What are people talking about?
Oh, I printed this one with a bunch of examples, and I'd originally thought that maybe we could join in, and then I thought that maybe it wasn't such a good idea in case we got into trouble. It's Naka 9 has, what do you need to get off your back? I think he means chest. But it prompted a huge thread of just stuff about games that piss people off, and it turned into just things about anything to do with games culture that piss people off. So his examples that he gave, the things he really wanted to scream about that pissed him off, were he thinks Tony Hawk Underground is the best Tony Hawk game, and that all the other talk is bullshit. He says Halo 2 campaign didn't suck, and the Ratchet & Clank Going Commando was the best Ratchet & Clank game, which prompted people to say things like they hate MGS3 and they think the camo system is bullshit, and that needs to be said. I wish Shane was here.
Oh. Hold on. Can you do Shane for us?
No,
we need someone to do Shane. Metal Gear Solid 3, the camo system is bullshit.
Masturbate actually says fuck the camo system.
Fuck the camo system.
Oh, did he like the camo system?
Shane?
Yeah.
Shane, I think Metal Gear Solid 3 is Shane's favorite Metal Gear, right?
It's okay. Camo system, best system ever.
After
there you go.
Whatever. That was it. Yeah.
Sinfoni says the Metal Gear games do not have good stories. I think he may be right there.
Which?
Metal Gear. Stories, not so good. Everyone thinks they're good, but they're not really.
Good or not good. I think they do. It's just that they get so lost in their little details.
What?
The writing's bad. The Stories are good. The
Writing's bad. Yeah, I think that's probably true. I couldn't even tell you what the story to Metal Gear Solid 3 was. There was some jungle camouflage action.
It's so dialogue heavy, you know, like people will have unnaturally long conversations. Solid Snake is not going to stop there while guys are creeping around him to get on the headset and be all like, "Hey, let's talk to my hot nurse friend back at base for 15 minutes,"
including some movie trivia.
Yeah, it's unnatural, you know.
He also says the 3 PS1 Final Fantasy games got progressively better, or to put it another way, Final Fantasy VII is the worst PS1 Final Fantasy. I don't know. Everyone's kind of screwing their face up at that one. I don't know if you're onto anything there.
That's really subjective.
Yeah. Papa Pichu says people post on message boards need to watch who they call a nerd. Bravo. He also says the Dreamcast doesn't look as good as you remember it.
He's wrong.
Wait,
no, he's totally wrong.
It does.
It does. It looks
better.
very
Good. It looks very good.
You were playing stuff recently?
Who said that?
His name's Papa Pichu.
Papa Pichu, you're wrong.
And he says, stop asking for a GoldenEye sequel. They already made it. It's called Red Steel.
Oh. All right, somebody needs to take their medication.
Some dumb kid, what he wanted to get off
I think Papa Pichu needs to go investigate that gaming literacy thread, because obviously he's
he also
completely
says
lost.
that the image we posted there's some stuff on game videos from City Hunter, including the Street Fighter scene with Jackie Chan, and to which he said, I'm pretty sure the image of Jackie Chan dressed up as Chun-Li made me sterile.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. It wasn't, yeah. Some dumb kid wanted to get off his chest that he buys everything that the EA makes. He hates the Wii and the DS, and he thinks that Halo 2 and Madden are the best games ever, and concludes with with I am a woman.
Nice setup. Okay.
That kid. That really confuses me on so many levels.
You okay? Shall I move on to another message board thread?
Okay, so we're not going to jump in and say the things we need to get off our chest?
I think it's probably not a good idea.
Why is that?
I don't know, in case we get into non-game. Well, yeah, go for it.
Fine, Garnet.
Throw one in there.
Bring it.
Throw one in there.
I'll say that I'm really fucking sick of Gran Turismos with shitty follow the line. Since we're talking about racing games, follow the line AI. I'm sick of Gran Turismo being a great driving simulator, but a crappy racing game.
I can buy into that.
Yeah. Sam, anything?
Cars just don't drive like that in real life. I'm sorry.
Fuck no, they don't.
I'm sorry. A Honda Civic, I've had a Honda Civic, okay? And when I'm like wiping out, don't talk to me about like, oh, you just don't know how to play the game. When you're doing donuts in your Honda Civic, like you're a soap bar on an ice track, you know, that's just not real. Fuck you, John.
Oh, you know what we were bitching about the other day? It wasn't just, it was people who were playing why can't I remember any game? Hotel Dusk.
Yeah.
They were playing, and everyone was talking about how, and it wasn't just Hotel Dusk, there was another game someone was playing too.
Someone was playing another game.
The one Alice was playing, the sequel
game.
to
the one with the
the one with the guy and the no,
oh, the PS2 game.
No, the one
DS?
the sequel to the
Boktaik sequel, that one?
no
Lunar Nights.
Damn it. The disaster
Raw Danger.
Raw Danger. That's
Raw Danger.
Yeah.
Oh, the Disaster Zone sequel.
Anyway, so like
I thought that was like some kind of food safety lesson.
yeah. So Jen was playing Hotel Dusk.
They named it Raw Danger?
Yeah, they named it Raw Danger.
They fucking named it Raw Danger? Disaster Report wasn't enough of a shot in the foot? Raw Danger sounds like E. coli, the game. Seriously, and I'm sensitive to that since I just had myself a little bout. Raw Danger.
Raw Danger.
Wow.
There you go.
Raw Danger.
But I wasn't bitching about the name.
Sam,
but
it took you a while to get there.
The problem is in these games, you're like, you're supposed to. We were talking about it too. You're supposed to get it like an item or whatever. But then you actually, or you're supposed to. You can't like go through this door yet because you haven't gotten this item.
Oh,
that, whatever.
Trigger point
the
bullshit.
trigger point stuff. Like that needs to change. Like that was Jen was bitching about that in Hotel Dusk, and I was like, maybe I'd.
There's a lot of things in that game where, this portion of the hotel you can't see until you've talked to this guy.
Right.
And then the door miraculously opens.
Right.
And
that just like pisses me off.
Who gave that a 10?
Mike Donohue on
Oh my God. And by the way, the writing, horrible.
Really?
Ugh.
I want to play the game. I'm like really excited about it.
It's a great
mechanism. When I hear that, I'm just like, oh god.
It's a great mechanism for telling a story, but it's nowhere near up to the writing is nowhere up to snuff compared to the quality of the presentation.
But conversely, as a translated game, I think the localization is pretty.
Localization is great. Now the dialogue itself is pretty good. It's just it doesn't go anywhere.
So the dialogue, it's all dialogue. Why are you getting the writing's bad then?
So
there's no non-dialogue writing.
The plot and progress and pacing do not draw you in. Like right now, I'm reading a novel called Wildfire, and Wildfire is a pretty decent novel. I'd say it's okay. Before that, I was reading some Preston Child stuff, and that was really great.
Is Fabio on the cover?
Whatever. Anyway, people who know literary
romance,
people who read any books will know what I'm talking about.
Fire.
And comparatively, it's like okay, these are interesting stories that draw you in, and this is a story that I'm like, okay, when do I get interested?
But it took you about 6 hours to get through chapter 1, didn't it?
Nah,
I mean, you're taking it pretty slow.
I'm in chapter 3 now. I play it like on the bus, like half-hour chunks. I played it maybe 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You get into the way that the fact that it is actually telling you what to do the whole time, and I think it's very easy to be blind to that because you're expecting a video game convention, and what it's actually doing is saying, "Go to the kitchen right now and get this thing."
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you're reading that as the guy just talking about the kitchen and the fact that there's a knife in there, and for a while it doesn't register that he's telling you that that's the absolutely next thing you need to do in the game.
Pulling keywords: knife, kitchen, now. Okay.
One of you guys recently, I think, brought up. I can't exactly remember where. It might have been. I don't know. Somebody might have said it on the one show, but if there's a renaissance of adventure games, like these text-based adventure games. I don't want that renaissance to happen. I want these cool little Ace Attorney games and these games to show up every now and then. Can you imagine if adventure games were as prolific as Tomb Raider clones were at one point, or Spec Ops, first person shooters where there's just
they were that prolific once. Right after Myst came out.
Right. That was then. But, I mean, if they made a big comeback now and there was suddenly, somebody had a huge hit that every other publisher wanted to get in on, all of a sudden Ubisoft was making them, and, Eidos, Midway, Rockstar, Capcom makes 3 more spin-offs. Can you imagine having to slog your way through every one of these, fucking adventure games?
I think it works well. I think that the DS it works well because I don't like action games I like puzzle games and these narrative things where it's not requiring me to like Twitch games of any kind on handheld.
You're seeing it now. When the next 5 adventure games that come down the pipe, John.
Sure.
Right?
Bring it on.
Yeah. You say that now.
See, I
3 months from now, you're going to be like, Skip, why are you giving me all these fucking adventure games?
Look, it would be a nice change from all the fucking racing games that I get.
Yeah, all right.
And the old race, it's got cars in it. Or, actually, Skip, you're not guilty of this at all, but the EGM guys, soccer. Thank God for Todd Zuniga for rescuing me from having to review every fucking soccer game out there.
Yeah, but that doesn't get you off the cricket list.
Well, thank God they don't release that stuff here.
They will for PS3. Maybe they did. They brought us F1. You might get cricket next.
You know what? F1 games are such they're always like there's such a launch system kind of game.
They're easy to make look good, I guess.
God, drive around in this circle, fellas. Thanks.
I want to hear what Milky's bitch is.
Yeah, do you have one? The reason I didn't want us to go into it because I thought we might get into something a little more industry specific than game specific.
Yeah, this
that could have got us into game specific
cool
stuff.
Well, now that we're on to Milky,
No, you don't want me talking about industry specific.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, do game stuff.
I don't know. I don't have anything really. I usually just react. I don't.
He's a lover, not a hater.
I don't harbor these
grudges.
These grudges.
I hate that the controllers break so easily.
When you throw them at shit.
Yeah.
Should I do the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Hit it.
Refusing to jump on the bandwagon. What was the first game you stubbornly did not play on principle? You ever had this where you just refuse to play a game just because it's... I think what he's getting at is not wanting to play it because it's popular or because there's a lot of hype, like consciously avoiding something. It's like, I guess, not listening to a band because it's fashionable, that kind of thing.
I'm very... Well, not so much. I know the band thing. Che used to be like that. He used to be all into something until a second person liked it, then he was like, "Oh, I'm over that. Yeah, it's not that good." Remember?
Yeah.
When they first brought Eco by, he was like, you couldn't pull him off the TV. He's like, "Oh, this is the most amazing thing ever," right? And then once we were all just like mesmerized by the game, he was like, "Oh, that game's not so good," you know. But I tend to avoid games. I tend to avoid games that are overhyped. Like, that's why I really like Gears of War, because I didn't follow it relentlessly from the moment they announced it to when it came out. I stayed away from it, you know, on the peripheral end of things. And when it finally came out, I was like, okay, well, I can go into this with no preconceptions. And I really, really enjoyed it.
Right, but it was funny because, like, you know, you were discovering stuff like a month after, or well, at least a couple weeks after we had all played it, and you're like, "Sam, have you seen this part?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
You're like, yeah.
Dude, it's Gears of War. Of course we've seen it.
I'm okay with being late to the party. I don't mind.
So, I mean, the guys on the board, Terran1138, who started the thread, said that the first one that he made a conscious effort not to play was Metroid Prime, because he felt very strongly that Metroid shouldn't be a first-person shooter.
I was the same way, and
Which it really wasn't.
No, well, I was wrong. I loved it. I didn't play it for a couple months. I remember EGM reviewed it, and it was like they gave it great scores, and I was like, "What? This can't be true." Mm-hmm. And then one night, I just finally threw it in. I tried it, and I was hooked. I loved that game.
Yeah,
I just couldn't believe that they could do it in first person.
Some dumb kid, who awesome name, said Halo 2. I always refuse to play it and always get flamed for it. I stand by my reasoning that I hate the multiplayer. Everyone snipes. Everyone only wants to play Blood Gulch. And the submachine gun is the worst weapon ever, and it's not fun.
So why don't?
Yeah, whatever.
So that sounds like you're taking the stance just to be different, because you don't have to play multiplayer.
You don't know. Phoenix Drummer.
Have you played the story in Halo 2?
Yeah. I wish it was just all Master Chief. I just wish
right.
You know, I wish
you really?
Oh, wait, you're not just Master Chief the whole way through?
Oh, spoilers!
Fucking spoiler,
dude. No, that one's
Milky just just jumped a big rank for me, because I have always taken shit for not. I was like, I didn't really like the Arbiter part. I didn't really want to be the Arbiter.
I didn't like the Arbiter. Who wants to be the Arbiter?
You didn't?
No, I don't want to be the Arbiter.
How come every time I bring that up, I take fucking shit?
From who?
Well,
yeah.
Nobody wanted to be the Arbiter.
Who's they? Yeah, you just want to be the dude.
Luke.
They should rename Halo into the dude. You know?
Yeah.
And you should drink White Russians the whole way through.
The dude. Yeah.
Dude
Phoenix
bites.
Drummer won't play Pokemon on principle because it's so popular. And Crispy 4001 tried the Splinter Cell games once and refuses to acknowledge that they're, the shit. I think Splinter Cell's all right.
I can't imagine taking a
you
stance
didn't play
on
Metroid.
Splinter
Is there
Cell.
anything else apart from Metroid that you didn't play on principle?
God, I'm trying to think.
I used to not play. Admittedly, at the time I was running OPM, but I did consciously avoid a lot of Xbox stuff to start with, and then went back and sort of consumed stuff. There was a lot of early Xbox, and also something else that I avoided that I since think I was crazy for is I did not see the attraction of the Burnout franchise. The first two Burnouts that Acclaim published. I'm like, what's all the fucking fuss about?
Right.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, because you really like it now.
Burnout's like one of my Burnout franchise, particularly from 3 on, is one of my favorite racing games.
Wow.
See, I think one of the things
Burnout 1 and 2, I just did not get it. Who wants to crash?
It was raw, but I think what was such a relief at the time, because people always react against what's come before. So the Burnout games in particular were like a return to just simple arcadey roots, like all that realism and stuff in Gran Turismo. See, Gran Turismo is a game that I almost don't want to play. I don't refuse to play it, but I almost don't want to play it because I thought Gran Turismo 2 was the least fun racing game I'd played in years, and everybody on EGM gave it a 10 straight across the board, and I just was like, I appreciate the depth, I appreciate the selection of cars, the reflection map graphics and stuff, but it felt like you were driving slow. I was like, where's the danger? Where's the fun? Where's the sense of racing? And I think that's what Burnout did in bringing it back, and by that token, Need for Speed as well.
Yeah. How about you? Anything you've avoided?
I was thinking about that. Actually, my response is usually the opposite. Is if something gets my back up, my response is to go grab it and play it.
Yeah.
So
you're so grown up.
You're so mature.
What the hell's mature about that? That's immature, isn't it?
Well,
why don't you have
going
children?
and checking it out on principle? It's like a very mature attitude. I'm going to go try it and see.
You should have.
It usually just gets me in trouble because I just
very
wind up getting.
It's a compliment. Take it.
Yeah,
Right.
You should have kids. They would be mature children.
Yeah.
Dev
I can't have kids because Suzanne doesn't trust me. She figures I'll always be the guy who
doesn't trust you.
Yeah.
With what?
They're mature.
To wield that thing.
She doesn't trust me that I wouldn't be like the kind of guy who's like a douche dad and like, oh, it's all mom. Mom's the bad guy. I'm the good guy.
Oh, she thinks you're going to be soft?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that.
I could totally see that. Be like, yeah, let's go hang out and get in trouble. Your
Garnett.
mom? Ah, fucker.
Garnett, he's soft. Next.
Dev518's review score thread is still going. It's 6 pages long. It's still going somewhere. I think we talk about it in more detail maybe on a later week. The things that seem to be coming out of it is that people like putting reviews in context, that no one reads a review in isolation anymore, which we kind of guessed. There's a grudging acknowledgement that scores are important. And a lot of people citing the point that we did actually go through a period of taking the scores off in CGW and everyone complained. So I think there's, I don't need the score, I just need to read the text. And then, okay, take it away and people complain. And then I think a lot of people are just like, it's important that the score and the text match. Well, duh, to what a reviews editor's job is. But, I mean, it's good. I think it's still got a way to go. And we'll hit this in a bit more detail on a later week.
Do you ever think that we don't want to put scores on it because it's a pain in the ass having to actually be nailed down to a score?
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, you would just be able to argue your point and not have to, put a numeric value on it.
Right.
But
like, do they rate things in the New York Times, or is it just text?
Yeah, they mark out a 4, don't they?
Is it 4 stars? Is that the deal?
Everyone does something. I like the thumbs up, thumbs down system myself.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
Last, Chang 3 says, shouldn't Xbox Live be the best of the best? I pay money for Live every 3 months, so why are there issues with it? It should be perfect. This is a Shane rant issue. The reason I bring it up is not because it's necessarily a great thread, but because it turned into a 24-page flame war.
Jesus.
One of the longest threads we've ever had on the One Up Yours board. Reverend Slim, towards the end, as I was reading it, I'm sure it's gone on further since, summarized with, personally, I'm still good with $4 a month for the overall ease of use and experience, and it's reinvigorated my love of gaming in a way the PC simply hasn't in recent times. In about 20 seconds, I can bring my 360 up on my projector and be playing online with both my old friends from college who have moved away and new friends I've made on Live. For me, that's a convenience that's worth every penny. In my case, I'm saving money because I've stopped having to upgrade my PC as often, as this thread clearly illustrates your mileage may vary. And I mean, that's the argument we've made before against Shane, sensible. In that it's not really that much for a controlled environment that offers you something that's really easy. And having struggled with the PS3 Online...
Does Shane have a gripe with the fact that you have to pay for Xbox Live Gold?
Yeah, he thinks it should be free because the PS3
Does he have a gripe with it?
I basically tend not to listen to Shane.
Oh, okay.
Okay, when I wake up in the morning, I don't dial into Shane FM. And when I log off at night, I don't go to sleep to the sounds of Shane. There's a reason for that.
Online should be free.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ideally...
Like the One Up Your show.
Ideally, it would be nice if everything was free, but when something is free, you don't get the kind of maintenance and stuff. I mean, there's a big difference in the quality between Xbox Live and the current PlayStation Online environment.
Yeah. Really? No, there's not.
What are you talking about, Milky? Huh? What are you talking about?
There is actually one more, and you can speak to this. In fact, you contributed to the thread on this. Indy picked up on a story that IGN wrote about the PS3 version of Oblivion, saying that it looks better, it runs better, and the load times are faster. What do you have to say to that, Garnet Lee? Well, you've seen it.
How do they know that? How do these kids know that?
Well,
it was a story on IGN. They read it and talked about it.
I mean, I've been walking this line in that thread too. I'm not gonna call out our competitors. However,
clowns.
I mean, look, it's the same damn game. It's the same art resources. It's the same. All they did was rewrite the renderer to run it.
Does it look better, run better, and load faster?
No.
Really?
No.
See, they're saying the load times are like 3 to 4 seconds, where the 360 is 7 to 10 seconds.
Hold on, I'll get my fucking stopwatch out and I'll time the load.
That's half the time. That's tangible.
They both load.
See, basically, you didn't notice a difference. But if you did actually spend the time and get a stopwatch, you would know.
Maybe it's because when the game goes into loading screen, that Garnett closes his eyes and dreams of fairies.
That does happen sometimes.
And that helps the time go by. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
Or something. But anyway, Yeah, the load thing, I did not time. It's quite possible. They said that what they're doing is they're spacing duplicate copies of the data around the Blu-ray so that the drive can access it more quickly. Is it possible? Sure, I don't know. I mean,
the question more is it tangibly different or not?
it's tangibly different at this point because it has that one piece of shader code in that we talked about that they're going to add to the 360 where the distance, the stuff in the background has to get into the technicality of it.
Don't.
Anyway, it looks good. It looks good in the distance now on PS3. It's going to look good in the distance on 360 when they add that bit of shader code.
All right.
Other than that, the PS3 isn't anti-aliased, so it's very sharp and crisp. If you like that sort of PC look, what was the game you were describing the other day as looking very...
Def Jam Icon.
Okay, so it has that same sort of carved out look.
Mm-hmm.
If you like that sort of carved out high defy look, great.
That sounds like a fun RPG too.
Def Jam Icon?
Yeah.
I wish.
Wrestling and rappers.
Yeah.
Anyway,
grappling rappers, man.
it's like I said in the thread. It's like this whole damn culture that's springing up around PS3. Everyone trying to say about how much better it looks. So, if I put on the HDMI cable, it looks so much better. I don't know.
Do we know if they're going to ship Shivering Isle with the PS3 version?
They're not. No, they're not going to. They're not going to ship it with it. And whether or not it comes out for PS3 is still not decided. I mean, that's another piece of add-on. And people have been confused about the whole DLC thing. It's not a matter of how much space is on the hard drive. It's a matter of how much memory the thing has resident. It has to load. The game has to load all of the downloadable
veering
content.
into the technical stuff we were steering you away from.
Anyway, it's not about the hard drive. It's about how much memory space they have. Different machines work differently.
I'm going to have to play Oblivion one of these days.
You should.
I've played a couple hours, but I haven't really gotten past the first dungeon with the rat killing, so I haven't seen the appeal yet, the magical moment where it all goes right.
There is a very specific magical moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Involves flaming dogs flying from the sky.
No, the magical moment is just after the rat thing when you step out of that dungeon.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
And is that when you pump your fist and you say, yes, I am down with this?
Yes, you will have a fist-pumping motherfucker of a moment.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, stick around. I got 3 guys here with intelligent things to say about the news I've gathered. Luke, I'm going to do you proud, so I hope you're listening. We'll be back. Stick around.
You're listening to One Up Yours, part of the One Up Radio Network.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. But as long as you're here, let me tell you about EGM Live, the weekly podcast from the editors of Electronic Gaming Monthly, along with the wonderful sounds of... EGM Live comes action-packed with special guests, late-breaking news, fanboy-baiting commentary, behind-the-scenes tales of office tomfoolery, and trivia contests with fantabulous prizes. Download it now at egmlive.oneup.com or subscribe to it through iTunes.
EGM Live is part of the One Up Radio Network, taped in the Ziff Davis offices in San Francisco. It is not actually live, and contest prizes are not guaranteed to be fantabulous.
All right, I'm ready to do my best impression of me doing news, not Luke, because I can't really face up to doing Luke nowadays. But we got some news here. EA has confirmed that they're closing EA Japan. They're going to switch to a partner model. What do you think is going to happen out of that? They're going to do...
most people didn't even know
they
there
hadn't
was
already closed EA Japan.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, so they, like EA Japan still exists. They still publish over there and stuff. They're just not doing any internal development. But it was kind of like...
Did they ever?
We've lost Milky already.
Yeah, I know. They did Theme Park DS,
And
they're still doing that.
They were doing some strange anime because the Japanese kids love the anime version of The Sims.
Would that be Dragon Sakura DS? They're doing that.
No, they were doing
a next gen game. Like
they were
PS3,
doing a Japanesey
360.
version of The Sims.
I remember when.
Oh, that's still happening though.
It is.
Yeah.
So, despite closing EA Japan, they're not closing EA Japan and not shutting down the Japanese games that they were working on.
That's right.
But they're just not internally developing anything at EA Japan.
Their official statement is that they're consolidating its development teams in Japan. Game creation in Japan will continue under our EA Partners model.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, and EA has been trying to figure out how to establish a big foothold in Japan for years, ever since their partnership with SquareSoft when it was still SquareSoft, and they've been going
Square
back.
EA, the whole distribution thing.
Yeah, and they could just never figure it out. I remember when the PS2 first launched, and remember that game X-Fire, that squad-based.
Oh dear.
Yeah, right? Bringing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That had a bald space marine in it as well.
Yeah. Not an archetype.
No.
Original. Very original.
Did he have a really thick neck?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think actually most of that crew were pretty skinny. Were pretty slim.
Yeah.
Yeah. But EA in Japan or closing down an EA branch, that's like such a non-factor in the world of gaming.
Next.
So we've got guys over at DICE, of course, getting ready to do some stuff other than just parroting whatever's going on. But I have to get into some of this stuff. Like Harrison, did you see Engay on stage with Phil at the? Did you see that?
The 20 questions thing?
Yeah,
I read the transcript.
N-Guy?
N-Guy, yeah.
Engay. I said Engay. Did I? I'm sorry. Sorry, Engay. Sorry.
Yeah. I thought you were
reading
engage.
instead of thinking.
Engage.
Anyway, so let's see what's the highlights out of here. SingStar and SingStar for PlayStation 3 were shown again. SingStar was a disaster on PS2. So
Anticipation
But it was
nil.
huge in Europe.
Yeah,
Was it?
right.
Yeah.
You just said it. Key word.
Europe.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Sorry,
Sam,
I remember.
I am a designated European in the room, so...
No, but I remember
whatever.
going to the Sony booth at Leipzig. The half of the booth was SingStar.
But
you were
I was
thrilled,
like,
right?
wow,
remember
why?
Remember the Sony conference at E3 back in 2006, and when they first started showing the PlayStation 3's online functionality, and they came out with SingStar. That, except for the couple Swedish dudes in the
If you
audience.
want to know what apathy sounds like,
that was it.
That was it.
That audience was 99.8% limp.
it was one of those samples for the pin drop ad. PlayStation 3, good news, online platform will continue to evolve aggressively. Unfortunately,
What kind of functionality will be in that aggressive evolution?
We don't really know, and there's no timetable either. But
He
Well, as long as
it's going to be aggressive. Look, it's going to be aggressive.
He did mention the downloads in the background thing, though. That's an aggressive evolution.
That is absolutely aggressive.
That's an evolution to up to
Xbox Live 8 months
par.
ago. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so with small.
Well, he
clap
had
for
some
that.
other good stuff to say. There was a thing that he said that Sam got very
Oh,
excited
yeah.
about.
Sam was
A new
particularly
Loco
thrilled
Roco. Yeah.
because the first one turned out really. You were satisfied by the first one, right?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Was he talking?
come
Is it?
on.
What?
Yeah, after as excited as you were.
Oh
about-
no! I think it's a kind of whatever. I think it's a bizarre game. I like that. I thought it was kind of funny.
Are they
but
going to do it for
but
PS3 as well? Because that would actually
That's
work with
what
the
I'm thinking.
six-axis.
Yeah, my theory is that it's going to be a PS3.
Six-axis
Do you
game.
think it'll have more or less racial profiling in it?
It had racial profile.
Why did you have to
Oh
do
no!
that?
Yeah, why'd you have to go there?
There's a brown spider dude. Okay.
Oh, I couldn't resist, of course.
Equal
And then,
opportunity insects.
So what else do they have?
well, you know those rubber duckies. They
Super
they,
Rub-a-Dub.
they get their own games.
Finally.
Super Rub-a-Dub gets
Duck
its own
demo the game.
Yeah, that's. Does that really matter to anybody?
Nope.
Haven't they been doing duck demos since the PS2 days?
It's going to be all motion controlled. You're going to love it. Not only is it the PlayStation Ducky mascot, but it's all with motion control.
I think people are reading a lot more into this session than it probably warrants. I mean, I think it was designed to just be, humanizing Sony a little bit, and people, I think, were expecting them to roll out something really impressive,
Right,
And they
DICE
didn't,
isn't-
and now people are critical of that. And it's like it's Phil and N-Guy talking about gaming, and I think people were expecting him to bust out, and my response to that N-Guy is, "Watch this exclusive trailer of Killzone 2.
Right,
Look
right,
how
exactly.
fucking awesome it is."
I was hoping that they'd
Yeah, I
bust
mean,
out-
keep in mind, we may report on DICE, but it's only 300 people who go to this thing. It's really small. It's whatever.
Of which 100
Yeah,
of
but
them
the
work
news
for
sends
IGN.
shockwaves throughout the nation.
Yeah.
I was just hoping that they
No, but they're actually and
Something that
Sony's
would,
saving most of their good stuff for GDC anyway.
Yeah.
So
I hope they come out with more reasons to buy a PS3 than ducks.
Virtua Fighter 5.
But that's not a new announcement.
I know, but it's a reason to buy a PS3.
just wait for GDC.
All right, so sticking with Sony Pictures announced.
Don't look at me like that. Go.
Look at
Sorry.
I'll look at you like however I want to.
Yeah.
Sony Pictures, part of the Sony Megacorp, announced they're going to do a Metal Gear Solid movie. How do you think that's going to wind up, sports fans?
Metal Geary.
It'll be Metal Gear, but I wonder if that's going to play any part in Kojima's development strategy.
Oh dear
So
God, I hope not.
who should
Yeah.
play him? We used to do this in OPM every month. We'd take a game and we'd cast it.
Oh yeah.
Who would you cast as Snake?
I would cast a total unknown.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the Brandon route,
Yeah, but not him.
but not him. Well, he's
Right.
he's too he's not rugged enough.
Yeah, he's a bit.
I wonder if they're
I'd
gonna
say I would
be,
go that route also.
like unknown. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't go unknown, then you're going to wind up with too many stereotypes trying to play on top of all the conceptions you have in your head of who Snake ought to be, and you're going to be trying to mix and match all this stuff. It's not going to work, and unknown would be a good way to go.
I think what's his face from Gladiator? What's his name?
The guy with the angriest man alive.
The Angry Goo.
I have no idea.
Why can't I remember his name? I've caught it from you. I can't remember what I'm thinking.
I know.
Of. Russell Crowe.
Russell
Thank
Crowe,
you.
yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't thinking Gladiator. I was thinking 300.
Oh, that movie's going to be good.
Oh, I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah. How about the game?
Yeah. What? No.
No.
For PSP.
Oh, Jesus, really?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a PSP game.
Next.
Whatever.
EA slipped out a little PR release about Half-Life, Black Box, Orange Box, and contained inside this little PR release was the note that they'll be coming out this winter. Hi, what's up, Episodic Gaming? John, you and I
So
talked.
are they... Is this confirmation that Episode 2 is not coming out until Black Box comes out?
Yes.
They're
Well,
not
I mean, as far as
They're not
officially...
going to slip it out on Steam first, which would, be the sensible thing to
That
do.
sounded really bad. You
Slipping
know?
it out on Steam.
Yeah, it sounds like slip out a steamy one.
Half-Life 2, Episode 2, the Cleveland Steamer.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I would be surprised if the retail release was the actual release of episode 2. I would have thought that they would just, when it's done, they'll just bang it on Steam and then Black Box will come to reinvigorate it, right? Are they not saying that?
No, they're not saying that at all. What they're saying is that this package, that these games will be out in fall 2007, and they go through the usual hype machine of,
Right, so then
it's
we
going
have
to
to
be
wait
so great, blah,
another
blah, blah.
year for another 3 hours of Half-Life.
Right. Episodic gaming
Damn
done.
right you will.
The future.
So
God.
look, we were talking about this the other day. Sam and Max guys are really the only ones.
Future is not quite here.
Yeah.
Sam and Max guys apparently the only guys who can make it work right now, right?
Every 2 months.
Because Sin obviously failed. I mean, now those guys are making
They're making games for Mumbo Jumbo now, the poor
Luxor.
bastards.
They're making Level Lord, now the Luxor King.
I want to
so
to
sad.
buy the Sam and Max games just to support their promptness.
Yeah.
You guys were
And they're
so
good.
prompt.
They're funny. They're
Really?
good. Yeah.
Yeah? Rabbity? Are they rabbity?
They're rabbity and doggy, and they're full of rabbity, chewy goodness, and they release
they're-
them every 2 months.
And they're prompt.
They're prompt.
You would have loved.
I like a nice prompt rabbit.
By the way, you think that Valve's not turning stuff out? I mean, all you have to do right here is listen to Gabe. Here's Gabe's quote. In less than 18 months, we've shipped 10 new products to retail outlets with EA partners.
Have we?
Apparently so. He
Can you
said
name
so.
them?
Must be
Yeah,
true.
what
Well, there's
Next.
Next.
Yeah.
Major Nelson. Good guy. Actually been on and talked with him once before. What's his name? Larry Herb. Right. So a pretty good guy.
I'm glad that Skip is acting as our collective memory
I know.
today.
Thank God.
Andrew
By the
Pfister,
way-
the hive mind.
In case you're wondering, we're not drinking our usual Glenfiddich today. We actually are drinking the Glenlivet.
That's what must be wrong.
That's the Glenlivet, which is what Mark got me. Thank you, Mark. I hope you're listening too. Anyway, Mike, he would like users to help write the Xbox Live 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments. If you ever go to his website, it's majornelson.com. And basically what he would like you to do, he wants to get feedback, but he structured it in this format of what would the 10 Commandments be for, let me see exactly, Marketplace 10 Commandments. It's like this follow-up where he threw out this to the internet community, this idea of theoretical improvements that you'd like to see in Xbox Live.
Is he talking about conduct in the community or functionality of the software?
Well, that's a very long subject. There's already 577 responses on the thread that he has, which is already
577 commandments.
Yeah. Well, no, times 10. It must be about 5,000.
Yeah.
Well, they're evolving the service. I mean, there was this, there's been stuff with the way that gamer points and stuff are assigned, and
Right.
I mean, there's a lot that they're already evolving the rules that they set a year ago. So, but I mean, is it talking about the pricing of downloads, things like that, standardizing?
So pretty much everything that you want, anything and everything, is wide open in this deal. It's a response to he had done a deal where it was like, what would you like to see different about Xbox Live Marketplace? And I think that the reason he's structuring it this way is because if you just do it as what would you like to see different about Xbox Live Marketplace, it becomes a bitch fest.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is not to be a bitch fest. They're trying to get some feedback. They're like saying, okay, you know what's wrong. You're welcome to complain about what's wrong, but what would you do different? What would you like to see? So there's your chance. MajorNelson.com. Hop into the middle of
Do you
that.
have any examples of some feedback?
Do I look like Luke?
I'm
no, I wasn't on the
sorry,
stick
I'm
that
sorry.
much. No, I didn't do that.
Anyone have any?
Oh, snap. Luke.
Oh, you were asking me what I would tell them? What
No,
they would do
well,
different?
we got past the fact that we didn't. Now I'm asking for if you have any suggestions.
What would you do different, Sam?
I don't
Nicely deflected.
I think it's good.
I would
That's
make
all
it
good.
free.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
make
all
it
good for
free.
me.
I'd make it free.
Well, I think one of the things I would do is like start to define some rules for pricing a little bit, so that certain types of content should fit into price bands. So, you know, like a live arcade. I mean, live arcade games, they're starting to get standardized. And the other thing I wouldn't mind is ditch the fucking points and tell me how much money I'm spending.
Fucking please.
That's the one thing that I really like about the PlayStation Store is if I'm dropping $6 on Blast Factor, I know it's $6.
Right, I like that too, but I almost wonder if it's if it's easier for a lot of people though to spend points. So that's why
That's the whole fucking idea, Sam. I mean, look.
it's like the Wii
you don't
points,
know
too.
what. Can you tell me what an Xbox Live point is worth?
No, but
We've talked about it a lot of times, and we bring it up, and I can never remember.
But it's probably like deliberate so that they can
Right.
mask the price so you don't feel so bad because you don't feel like you spent dollars. You
Right,
spent
because
points.
you think in like round numbers, right? So like they're trying to get to the point where you think of in terms of 500 points, $5, 1,000 points,
No,
Right.
500
$10.
500
Wait,
points
$7.
is
it's like $6 and something.
$6 something,
and
yeah.
and 1,000 points is $12 and something. But
Be
they're
funny.
trying to get you desensitized to that, so you're just like,
Right.
500, it's just 500 points.
Somebody
it's like
but in
$5.
terms of what I would prefer, yes, I like the dollar amount
So I think
on PlayStation.
price bands for types of content
Right.
and guidelines to developers that so add-on content that provides up to this much content is this much, and then so that we don't get like crazy shit like the GRAW download pack costing a fortune and not really being very much. And then there's the Rainbow Six Live player pack that comes out soon that does have a lot of stuff in it, and I have no idea what Ubisoft is going to charge for that
they'd
thing.
have to initiate this like standardization because look at the Gears of War stuff, free. It's just free downloads. Somebody needs to make up a currency converter, like just like changing Canadian money into American money or whatever, but for Microsoft points.
You know that the whole subject of how much to charge and valuation of downloadable content is huge, and that's one of the reasons that downloadable content for a game like Gears of War is still out there, like being talked about and debated about.
I do like that they're now allowing add-ons for games to add another 250 achievement points. Oh, that was kind of cool.
One of my buddies from back in Arizona sent me a note the other night. He was like, 20,000 points, baby! I'm like,
Jesus.
20 fucking thousand points? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Calvin Erickson, back in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. I guess he's divorced now. I don't know.
Because of his 20,000 points?
Who knows? I don't know. How does he have time to get 20,000
Wait a minute, he
points?
earned it or he bought
neglecting
it?
his wife,
No,
clearly.
Yeah, obviously.
Way to go,
earned
Calvin.
Yeah.
It's time to
pretty
put the
hot,
controller
too.
down. Calvin, put it down.
Yeah, put it down. set the controller down. Blizzard. So over at GamesIndustry.biz, the director of or the business development vice president at Blizzard said, in 5 years, maybe you won't need a console anymore. Consoles are becoming sophisticated PCs which sit in the living room. We'll have to wait and see how all this develops. Maybe in 5 years you won't need a console because you'll have a PC which delivers content all over your house.
Yeah, see, it's easy for Blizzard to say that since they make $8 billion a month from WoW subscriptions, But I'm pretty sure
We're quite happy with the performance of our PC game, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, all the other guys out there that are publishing PC games and making absolute jack shit out of it,
Yeah.
I'm sure disagree.
This news headline should actually say Blizzard : no other games in 5 years. You will be playing WoW. That's
By the way,
it.
not to kick Shane a little here, but just because I have the opportunity. He says, personally, I love Xbox Live.
I am never not going to be on this show because you just get ripped on.
I think Microsoft has done an excellent job developing that, and there's lots of exciting things there. I'm impressed by the people who do it, and the service is very easy, very intuitive. I love it. Blizzard loves Xbox Live. Beautiful thing. Tekken 5, speaking of downloadable content, Tekken 5 coming to a PS3 near you very soon.
Read
Right.
the quote. It's important.
Which
On how
Online-
they announced it.
which part are you referring to?
Let
I
me
want
see
to
the
make sure.
story. This is an important
This is
discussion point.
obviously important.
The quote when we asked them if online play, because we'd heard
right,
there was going to
okay,
be
right,
online
that part.
play, and the wording they used was online play will not be available in this download.
Blast
See, it's
Factor.
like exactly. Yeah, it'll be another download, another whatever, $5 or whatever for the online version.
So, I mean, they won't go on the record and say that there's going to be add-on content, but I would imagine that Tekken 5 is modular on PS3 by the sounds of it.
And it will eventually have
There'll be stuff.
online multiplayer.
Yeah.
So as much as we're enjoying Virtua Fighter 5 right now, how do you think the timing of Tekken 5 is going to impact that?
Tekken fans will be happy, but Tekken fans will also need to remember that what they are playing is essentially a PS2 game on the PS3. So they're going to, it's going to look nice, but it's not going to look as nice as Virtua Fighter 5. And
hopefully it's not going to be as much as Virtua Fighter 5, though.
I think it's probably it'll probably be like $15.
Probably at most. I would
pay $15 to play a new Tekken.
Yeah, I mean it's not. And the timing is a way to go. Namco.
Well, I've never played Tekken 5.
All right. So,
but it's like it's coming out the same week as Virtua Fighter 5, so it's like
it's a bit of a fuck you gesture from Namco.
That's kind of what I was thinking, and that's always been a big rivalry. I mean, we were just looking the other day at the rivalry between Tekken 4 and Virtua Fighter 4, right? And huge.
All I'll say right now is that you get what you pay for. If you want to buy Tekken 5 or Virtua Fighter 5, you deserve it.
Okay,
for a third the price.
Have fun, John.
Damn, just saying.
Have fun with King's low kick. Kick. Peck. What's the combo, John? Left punch, right kick, right kick, right kick, right kick, right kick, right kick.
Don't make him go capoeira on your bass.
Yeah, that's fun. That's
right.
Fun. Good times.
All right, so, the 360 hardware, God, are you sick of talking about this yet? I'm tired of talking about 360 hardware and what might happen to it. There's like 2 reports. I happen to have grabbed these off of Engadget, but they were all over the internet. One of them was on a rumor out of Australia about the stupid Zephyr again with a big hard drive, HDMI output.
And importantly, it's black.
It's black, right. It's fantastic. It looks so much better in
black.
And
was this the one with the built-in HD DVD?
No.
Well, that wasn't part of the rumor. But people are complaining that, well, if you're going to do another one, stop arguing about the hardware. Yes.
I have a question about
there will be a 360 revision at some point in time. No, this is bullshit.
There's all this like bitching right now between Sega and EA over who gets the first 1080p 360 game out. Can you output 1080p over component?
No. Well, you can. You can't. Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, you can in games. It was a problem with the movies, right?
The movies, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, you need HDMI to output the 1080p signal from. I don't know, but there was this Virtua Tennis and NBA, whatever it's called, Showdown, whatever the street thing.
This is an argument that starts off with PS3 users who, by the way, don't have a scaler in their PS3 and have problems with 720p games. But whatever, whatever. You argue about what you want to argue about.
It's like now you've got it from 720p on up. 780 to 1080i to 1080p, and it's like it's not good enough now.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like we've already heard from developers that
Virtua Tennis looks pretty fucking sweet in whatever you play.
Right.
Yeah. And
whatever P.
Right now, like
whatever P you play it in.
When I was interviewing Team Ninja, they were saying that optimization wise, that 720p is the optimal resolution for playing games, and based on what the consoles have to offer in terms of power. If you start really trying to make the best looking game you can running at 60 frames per second.
But wouldn't you rather have those extra 360p's?
I love P's. I love P's more. I'm getting into the whole I want more.
You want more P's?
Yeah, I want more P's, but
hell, I want 2,160p's. If I'm honest.
Right. Yeah, if you're honest with yourself.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to settle
for 720 of them,
or 1080, John.
Wow,
P's.
We
drifted off the point a little bit there.
Apparently, 360 might get more quiet though if you buy one that's manufactured after November. The guys over at Engadget got this by way of a forum post on Xbox Scene, where the guys have opened up a Xbox 360 they thought was noticeably quieter, and there's a new drive in it. It's not an HD DVD drive, folks.
It's just a quieter, cheaper DVD drive.
Quieter. The new DVD drive, Microsoft has started building its 360s with a new DVD drive manufactured by BenQ Light on Philips. So, more quieter 360? Hell yeah, because if you haven't played your 360 in a while, the first time you turn it on at night, you're like, what the hell is that thing? Big controversy over N-Gage, because we all remember how well N-Gage worked out. That was a really great gaming experiment, wasn't it? That worked out really well. Nokia on their website, they live blog their N-Gage experience and stuff. They talked about
how do you live blog nothing?
They don't live blog. They blog their.
It's just a blank page.
No, they blog what they're doing with N-Gage. Sorry, the live slipped in there. They talked about great new support for the new N-Gage. It's going to be N-Gage 2.0. And on the internet, people jumped all over this and said, oh, well, there's going to be a new N-Gage. There's going to be a new device. The reality is, if you read the next post in their blog about that, is the next N-Gage isn't going to be a device. It's just a branding of gaming.
A platform.
Right. It's a platform. It's
Yeah.
the way they're
gaming on Symbian, basically, right?
It's S60 version 3, which is their Symbian's, 60 phones. They have tons of devices. You'll be able to see it on lots of
Don't
devices.
care.
Blah, 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 blah.
Cease to care.
Cell phone gaming? You don't want to game on your cell phone?
If I want to play a game, I want to play it on my DS or my PSP.
What do you think about kids buying mature rated games? So I picked this up off Evil Avatar, and it's also been bouncing around other places. And our friends over at Destructoid apparently have little info from EB Games, apparently. So this Washington, D.C. television station did a secret shopper thing. They went to both specialty stores like GameStop and EB, the FYEs, and they also went to like Best Buy, Target, Walmart. The big guys, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, nobody sold a mature rated game.
Right, and you know what? They sell 90% of all games. Like,
Right.
Walmart is the biggest seller of games in the country. So this, like, specialty game stores will sell you. It's like teeny tiny amount. It's bullshit. These stings that they do, they're trying to get the SOB with, it's the complete bullshit. It's like, it's creating a story for the hell of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, what can we do today? Let's do an indie video game thing. Oh, let's go to some mom and pop game store that's going to go out of business anyway because Walmart moved in and prove that they'll sell a game to anyone because they really need to.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So bullshit. What do you think? What do you think about the EB guys saying that on top of like taking disciplinary action against whoever the associate was that would sell it, that they might fire a store manager who, even if he wasn't there, his associate screwed up.
Guess some people are going to need to man up.
All right, Milky's on it.
I was a bartender for like 8 to 10 years,
Right.
and whether or not you're a deli worker who's got to card somebody for cigarettes, or if I got to proof somebody to find out if they're 21 or not, see your ID, or the doorman proof you, and then you get proofed at the bar again. It's not that hard. Can I see some ID? We carded people who look like they could be 35, 40. It didn't matter. It's better safe than sorry. How hard is it for like Joe store clerk to say, can I see some ID, when you're obviously like 17, 16 in that kind of, age group? I don't know how hard it is.
No more argument about that. Rockstar.
I was surprised they're making a new one.
I can't believe they're doing it for the Manhunt on the Wii.
So
What
that's
are they
why
thinking?
That's why I brought it here. Okay, come on. I mean, besides the fact that we just talked about this the other day with PS2, PSP, and oh, by the way, the next gen or next
All right,
whatever that was, Wii.
Manhunt, Wii, lots of bludgeoning, Wii controller. So many.
It's gonna be
Bad
awesome.
story.
Game of the year.
No. This is. Can you imagine? I've got my nunchuck adapter in there, and I get to garrote somebody.
Or you get
See,
to
I
connect
know
two
Nintendo.
remotes together.
I think Manhunt 2 is going to be
nunchuck.
E-rated game. It's all cartoon graphics, and you go and you give flowers to people. It's the Manhunt guy after he's been through therapy.
They're building on what they established with Bully.
Oh, so
right?
it's
They're
like
moving away from
There's going to be
extreme content.
lots of boys kissing in Manhunt 2.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
FTD King.
It's a Manhunt 2, the romantic comedy on Nintendo Wii, cell shaded.
Or a romantic venture.
How do you think Nintendo feels about this?
I think they encouraged it.
Really?
Although,
they did.
I think
I'm sure.
although I'm
Why?
sure.
Okay, no, wait.
No,
let's
because they're
understand
trying to, because they want to show that the Wii can be more than just a kid's
And there's no such
machine.
thing as bad publicity.
But I do think
like
when
if-
Reggie was sitting around saying, we should get those Rockstar guys to do some Wii games, I don't think he was thinking of Manhunt.
Nope.
There's nothing like pulling a plastic bag over somebody's head and suffocating them.
I'm thinking he was thinking of some other franchise that apparently was exclusive to PSP and now isn't.
Reggie's so funny.
So, John, by the way, since you've already been called out on the message boards, looks like that thing about Vice City Stories.
They told me explicitly.
they
it's
told
not good.
me.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? They said, we're not going to do this one on PS2. And the reason they said that is because Liberty City Stories sold 2 million copies. And they thought Vice City Stories wouldn't, and it actually sold 2 copies. So now they're doing a PS2 version.
I bought one of those copies.
Yeah, well, you were the guy.
I was the guy. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with Back to Dice because it's the end of an era, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lowenstein, he's leaving, and he's so Doug Lowenstein is leaving the ESA, and really a whole era is ending, especially with E3 closing, right? And his exit here is. What was your take on this? He chastises, Joystick has it as he chastises cut and run developers. But basically what he said is that he's cool with you making mature content, but if you're going to make mature content, you better have the balls to back the shit up and not just run and hide as soon as someone challenges you about it. Hi.
Funny he should be saying that.
Exactly. Yeah. Jesus.
Where's he going? Oh, somewhere other than the games industry.
Yeah.
I mean, how long has this guy been the guy who didn't have everybody's back in the games industry?
What was his job? Actually, speaking of the ESE and E3, something that this is a call to anyone that might have anything to do with E3 or be on any other industry people that are actually maybe listening and involved in this. We've heard that the way that E3 is going to be, it's an invitation-only event this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been hearing stories that it's an invitation where there's essentially a popularity contest.
Right.
It's going to American Idol.
Where
there's a list.
You are voted onto the island of E3 by people from the publisher side as a journalist as to whether you can come or not, and the people that get the most votes get to come.
Right.
Which is presumably based on whether or not they think that you're going to give them favourable coverage. I would assume. Now, at the moment, this is a rumor. We don't have anyone to confirm it. But if there is anyone who is voting,
please leave me off that fucking list. Seriously, go fuck yourself.
So, and the other element this brings in that's really kind of like bizarre is people start thinking, okay, I'm a publisher, but I know that like EA is a big publisher, and they're going to go ahead and invite, high profile person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the number. And if what we heard is correct, each publisher has a set number of people that they can vote onto the island. So there's only like a certain list number they can vote. So then you get secondary publishers or third layer publishers thinking, well, I really want to make sure that so and so from such website that always covers us really well gets on. So I'm going to make sure and put them on the list, but I'm not going to put this other guy on the list because I want to make sure that they get onto the island.
Can we vote people from the publishers off the island?
Right. I know.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
I'll come, but I don't want to talk to that guy.
Right. Oh my God! What a mess.
Anyway, if you work in the industry or have anything to do with E3 and you're in the loop on this stuff and can tell us, shoot us a note, either messages or email us, or if you want to do it publicly, you can go to boards.oneup.com and jump in on the One Up Yours and start a thread on that.
So, Lowenstein going out this way. I mean, I just wish that we had more of this kind of fervor from him earlier.
Fervor? You mean vitriol, perhaps?
I was being generous.
Backbone.
Look,
man, don't get me started on that guy. All right, every time like a lawsuit or something came up, and instead of like being proactive, being strong about it, I mean, he's a lawyer for Christ's sakes, right? Why can't we defend ourselves against like frivolous lawsuits? Why does a company like Bethesda have to re-rate their game after they put it out because somebody took the code, ripped the code, made an illegal third-party mod, and put some titties on some stupid-ass polygon models? Why do they have to go back and re-rate the game? Why do they get penalized?
Yeah.
So I don't miss that stuff.
He also took a little parting shot at us.
Already?
Hey, questioned why no one has bothered no one has bothered to take the time to join the Video Game Voters Network, and he also took the gaming press to task for.
Have you heard of that before?
No, of course not.
It was well publicized, apparently.
Yeah. He also took the gaming press to task for a lack of maturity and professionalism relative to the film and music industry press.
Well, he has a lack of a clue. Okay.
Well, you see right there, that's James Milkey with his lack of the same sort of professionalism that you'd see in the film and music industry press.
Exactly.
Jesus. I got to agree with Joystick on this one, which is what would it have been like if the last 5 years he had been this fervent in defending our business and getting behind people.
A crusader for the industry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A crusader
which is what the industry was paying him, a not insubstantial amount of money to do.
A crusader with a pair.
I mean, every time one of those silly lawsuits with that guy down in Florida came up, where was this?
Yeah.
Where was this response? Where was him telling, publisher, you should be out there telling these people to fuck off this bullshit?
No, his reaction was like, oh, our bad. Sorry. sorry, we're gonna get these guys to change the rating, or it's our
Right.
fault.
Well, you know what? Obviously,
placating.
Those symbols on the front of the packaging aren't quite clear enough, so we need to adjust and tweak the ESRB ratings some, make them more clear to understand. Yeah.
You know, back when rock and roll was first new, you know, they wouldn't film Elvis below the hips because the swivel was deemed too sexy for primetime television, right? But somebody had to take a stand somewhere at some point, you know.
Well, the good news is E3 is going to be done after this year, right? Do you
I do.
you
I
guys
think
see
so.
it's going
Yeah,
into
it's going to
otherwise?
be this year's going to be a disaster. So,
and the industry and the industry organization is going to change dramatically, or at least change to the extent that something is going to arise out of the ashes out of that, and hopefully it'll be more mature.
I heard that it's going to turn into like something like TGS, where it's open, where there's another event open to the public.
It could turn into anything, but
yeah.
I think, I mean, it's
well, whatever we get this year is not like. I mean, we've talked to
it's not
every
the future.
publisher we've talked to doesn't know what to expect, doesn't know what's going on, doesn't really.
And
they're
usually-
asking us like, what are we doing?
And
What
usually you have to plan that kind of stuff out because those are like
people are,
you know.
yeah, people are going. They're gonna. I mean, they have around that time is when
If they're voted on.
Yeah. No, but I mean, the publishers have stuff that they're going to show off around that time, like they do every year.
At this point, if
but-
they're intimate meetings and they're like, you know, it's not a big production and stuff, why are we even having E3? We don't need E3. Those guys just come to us like they normally do. They show us the stuff. We pass on the information. Wow, why do we need to?
And you can pass it on while showing a lack of maturity, James.
Fuck yes.
and absolutely
Fuck yes.
Professionalism
Fuck
overrated.
that.
That just gets my goat. That there can be maybe a few people that don't show professionalism, and all of us that do get tarred with the same brush. It's like, well, you know, good riddance.
We were talking about this the other day, and so the argument came up that with E3 leaving, that would actually hurt the game industry because we wouldn't be in the public eye. And I actually was championing the opinion that you convinced me of, which is that actually we might be better off in the long run without E3 because as games enter mainstream media, we don't need that one point to gather everything that the titles that should be getting coverage will be getting coverage.
Right. It invites everything into one place, and it's like there's all this pressure and all these outlets that wouldn't normally give any games
Suddenly think
coverage.
they have an
Suddenly feel,
opinion.
yeah, they have an opinion on video games, and you get all these bullshit stories from news outlets that, you know, don't know a thing about. They know entertainment media. They don't know a thing about gaming. They don't know how to put gaming content into context. And it's all sensationalist, and you end up with, you know, some fucking news outlet that would never do this any other show doing a booth babe expose, and it's like, come on.
Thanks. It was a hell of a show. It's a pretty good slide to wrap it up. What do you think?
Oh, it's nice having you on.
I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done.
Yeah.
Milk's done.
Thanks.
Sam's done.
yeah, I'm done.
Guys, thanks
Skip's
for coming.
done. Skip's
Appreciate you
real done.
guys doing the show with us today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks for having us on.
And on Monday we'll be back with John and I giving Luke and Shane
A rub,
a rub or two.
a little rub down.
Thorough and vigorous debriefing.
A post knobbing.
Oh, see, Garnett always takes it that one step too far.
He's so immature and unprofessional.
Can you talk to him?
Well, you'll have a chance to between now and Monday. Until then, keep up with us on boards.oneup.com. So until next week, we're gone.
This has been a presentation of the One Up Radio Network. For more shows, visit podcast.oneup.com.